That's a really good team. They were right behind us in the net, so can breathe a little bit, getting that one out. I don't really like the way we finished down the stretch, but hats off to them for not giving up. They kept fighting.
Coach, the top 16 seeds came out, which you probably know, before the game where the NCAA did its early reveal. Obviously, y'all checked in at number 16, which gives you a position to host. How big is winning this game and winning what's in front of you to stay in that spot?
Yeah, it would have really sucked to lose this game, and you have that 16 on paper, but you know it's gone. So it's good that we can breathe another day.
Juel, you also had a heater at Ole Miss last year, but you guys ended up losing that game. You know, was that on your mind this year to, have this one turn out as a win? And, is there anything about Ole Miss that you felt like you could capitalize on as a scorer?
Yeah, I think the only thing on my mind was just knowing that, last year we lost that game. So this is kind of just like a payback game, and just knowing that we need to win, every game in front of us. So I was kind of just putting my focus towards that and then letting the game come towards me.
Kim, 20 turnovers, but Ole Miss only scored 4 points off them. What went into being so successful in setting the defense after turning the ball over?
It's something we talked about. You can turn the ball over 200 times, just don't get scored on. And we talked about what our effort was going to be like after a mistake. We're making mistakes right now. This is a really good defensive team. We knew we were going to turn it over. And I think we did a better job at LSU of playing harder after the mistake, and we weren't doing that early in the year. So that's really important.
For Samara and Juel, that was Ole Miss's third game in 6 days. Could you guys start to kind of see Ole Miss get fatigued down the stretch, and how much of an impact do you think that made?
Yeah, I think that they were tired early, a little earlier than we expected them to be. Normally, we wear teams down towards like the second half and towards the end of the game, but they were kind of tired. Credit to them though, because playing 3 games in 6 days is pretty tough.
Juel, you've been a part of Tennessee Ole Miss games. They are chippy. They are physical. How did you everybody keep their cool at a game that had a lot of stoppage in play for fouls, a lot of reviews? Just how did y'all sort of stay focused?
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a physical game, and both teams are very gritty and very passionate and wanted to win the game. So that was that. But just keeping everybody level-headed and knowing, to do whatever it takes to win this game.
All of the stoppage time, just can you kind of put into perspective how much that disturbs the offensive rhythm, specifically with how you guys play and how you would evaluate how they did with kind of keeping in a rhythm offensively?
Yeah, I think they just down the stretch we got sloppy, so the first stoppage play I don't think affected us. The second one did. And I also think anytime there's a stoppage of play, it gives the other opponent time to rest if they are tired.
Kim, just some really great all-around efforts from Samara and Coop today. Just what did you like about, even though they weren't scoring a ton of points, but like making impacts everywhere else in a game where really every possession mattered?
Yeah, we've talked about wanting more rebounding out of our guards. And so it's for Sam just to fly in there and get 10 rebounds. I mean, when she first got here, she said, I don't rebound. And she went and got 10 today. And she's sneaky, she's smart, she can track the ball, she can go get it. And I mean, there are some plays in the first quarter I will vividly remember that she just soars in there and goes and gets it with one arm and then starts our offense for us, which was huge, so other people can box out.
Samara, there were a couple of times where it looked like you might have been a little frustrated. How do you maybe channel that to be positive energy for you on the court?
I just turn it into anger on the defensive end. I try to get a steal or a stop in our press. We knew that a lot of them weren't comfortable handling the ball, so just turning that energy into something good and being able to get a stop on the defensive end.
Coach, the other day in here, Z talked about how here at Tennessee she's not put into a box. What about how you, Coach, would make her feel that way?
Yeah, I think we just want our players to be able to play free. We do a lot of individual skill work. I always say, and I will always say, I want great players, not great plays. I don't want to have to draw a play every time down the floor. I want players that can just go play. And so that requires people to do a little bit more than what they're used to doing.
How tough is it to be aggressive defensively and rebounding when there's somewhat of a tight whistle like there was today?
Honestly, it's just hard, but we have to be able to adjust to the game, and I feel like most of the time we don't really do that very well. Tonight, I don't feel like we did that very well, but, it's just something that we have to work on as a team, being able to adjust during the game.
Coach, whenever I'm in this arena, Pat's voice still echoes every time I watch a game. And I can remember her saying in the timeout sometimes, I need everyone to get a sense of urgency right about now, especially in a close game. Do you think your team found that sense of urgency to secure this win?
I don't. I feel like it was probably the opposite. I think we had a sense of urgency early. I think our first quarter was better. I think giving them 7 points in the first quarter, we had a sense of urgency. And then I think human nature kicked in and we saw a 17-point lead. We started to play a little bit loose, a little bit lax, wanted to take some shots that maybe we shouldn't take, didn't want to box out because there was such a deficit, and we let them back in it.
Performances like tonight from Juel probably aren't surprising anymore, but how nice is it to see her drop as much as she did today with the efficiency she did?
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing is how efficient she is. She doesn't take bad shots. She can score at will when she gets it, and it's hard too when you want to heat check and you don't force it, and that's what her stat line says. Is I took the shots that came to me. I passed the ball when I needed to pass the ball. I made plays for other people and got hers, which is what we want out of everyone.
Kind of building off that, like just how crucial is Juel being that level-headed, in a game like this where Ole Miss was making it really tough to score at times. They would be pressure really far outside the arc and really get after you. Just to have her, be that kind of steadying, presence. How key is that for this team as you get closer to March?
I will always love and appreciate a player that can be level-headed and steady. It helps calm everyone around them when you're a leader on the floor and you can just talk to people calmly no matter what, whether you're up 10, down 10. That's a breath of fresh air for a coach, and I do think that Juel recognizes the sense of urgency that we have coming down the stretch. And she's been more vocal in practice. She's made sure that people are just approaching every drill with a sense of urgency. Hey, let's get in it. Let's get in our drills quicker, down to that. And that's kind of how my brain works anyway. So to have her echo that down the stretch, I think is going to help our team.
You guys have been out-rebounded, but today was one of them. When you are getting out-rebounded on the board, where do you look other on the court to kind of get a little bit more out so you guys can still come out on top?
Yeah, we didn't do a very good job winning the possession battle today. We just shot better than them.
For Juel and Samara, so Juel, for you, this is another game where it maybe feels like you're automatic from the three-point line. What maybe are you seeing that continues to give you that confidence there? And then Samara, when games are tight like that, is it a sigh of relief when you see one of her buckets fall?
I would say just not second-guessing myself, like we talked about last time, just when I'm open, taking the shots that are there, and being aggressive, but also credit to Sam and Coop. I thought they did a really good job of just getting downhill, and when they get downhill, it helps me out because people have to focus on them, and it kind of gives me a little space just to get open, so, yeah.
I love it, honestly. I'm glad to be able to play with somebody who, we can go to in times where, because we had a lot of stretches where we could not score the ball. And just being able, for Juel to come out here and be the hot hand for us, go to her when we need a bucket, I think it's helpful.
Juel, how would you describe this team's mental space right now, knowing only a handful of games left, knowing what you guys have to accomplish down the stretch of this season to achieve the goals you guys want to achieve? How would you describe where the team is at right now?
I think we're pretty locked in, honestly. We still have room to grow, but the sense of urgency is there, especially, with a lot of seniors on our team. We know we have to win every game. We can't let games slip by. This is our last year, so I think everybody's buying into that, and it's just helping the urgency and the competitiveness in practices.
Coach, you probably could have moved as fast if you were still pregnant, but when that little scuffle started, you got down there in a hurry to get your players back to the bench. I was impressed with your speed down the court.
My first day, yeah.